It's alive. Alive. We last streamed 68 days ago. Now, I don't have any audio there.
That's a lot of days ago.
I know. A lot of days ago. And then the internet can totally see you now to stop user encoder, which is over there. Okay, I was going to grab the stream. Why? Asks Ganesh. Hey, Ganesh. Why?
Why not is the question.
Why not is the question. I'm going to write a new episode, and I thought instead of just doing it quietly by myself, I would do it in public. Hey, Eunice. I'm going to try and bring in... And I need more practice with my streaming software, because we're getting back to the weekly Space Hangout time, and I thought I would get myself back at it. So this could be the most boring thing you've ever seen. In fact, I guarantee that it's going to be incredibly boring, but it should be fun. Hey, Breath. All right. So I'm going to capture a new screen. I'm going to capture... Yeah. Hey, Endo. Which one do I want? I should number my monitors. Like, actually put...
He has 4 monitors.
Yeah, I have 4 monitors, yeah. That's my son. He's just right beside me. You can't tell. All right, so I got the monitor. And then I'm going to delete this as soon as we're done. But I thought it would be fun for you to watch. You can see how I write, how long it takes me, and sort of how I put things in, how I structure my scripts. Hey, Kyon Nunnan. Why did Gmail screw me over? Why did Gmail screw you over? Now, I could be completely pointless and be super difficult on my brain, and I won't get a chance to actually do any writing because I'll just be yakking with you guys. But that's cool, too. Hey, chat, and not Fraser. Wait, what? I'm not Fraser? What? Hey, Lena. Okay, so I need to do this one. And then I need to bring the size down on it and put it over in the corner. That's where it's... Oh, there it is. Okay. Right, so that's where the chat's going to go. And then I'm going to hack it down. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Left, right. Boom. Top. I'm on top. There you are. There's the chat. Bottom. It's about there. A little more to the left. And then I'll just bring that down a bit. And then and there should be no audio. No audio. We don't want any audio to this. Hey, Pop Bob Pirano. Thanks. Lee Williams. Hey. Kartiki. Hey. Amar JB. Hey. Benji Blue. Hi there. Hi back to all of you. All right. I think I can do it now.
42 watching.
Let's see.
A
Okay.
lot better than Twitch. There was like one
Boom.
person watching.
So now, in theory, in a couple of seconds. Hey, Paul. Matsy. Kind of hope I didn't come off as horrible. No. There we go. There's the chat. So you can see what I can see, the chat. You want to hear my thoughts on Proxima B if I'm wanting to cover that, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So for anyone who hasn't heard, and we've posted a video on this, astronomers from the European Southern Observatory announced that a new Earth-like planet has been discovered in Proxima Centauri, which is the closest planet to, or the closest star to the sun. So it's only 4.25 light years away. And the cool thing about this is that it's actually in the habitable zone of the star. So it means that it's the place that liquid water could be possible. Now, of course, what is possible and what is likely is a whole other story. In fact, I've even heard from a couple of astronomers that they're not even sure that it's even a terrestrial rocky planet. It could be a gas giant. So Yeah, that's where we're at right now. More confirmation is needed. But the cool thing about this, right, is that this is the closest possible planet. Like, we're done. This is as close as you can possibly get, which is really interesting to think about. So I think it's probably the most important story in astronomy this century so far, I think. Kartiki Verma, I'm from India. I want to learn about time dilation. I actually did an episode about time dilation like 3 episodes ago, so check it out. The question, of course, is, can we ever get there? Can we ever find any more information? But I think there's going to be, there's the James Webb Space Telescope. There's going to be a bunch of stuff that's going to happen that's going to tell us. So I think could very well be that we're going to find more information. We're going to get more details. More telescopes are going to be looking at it, and it's going to be a whole other world. So I'm really stoked about this. Yeah. So if anyone has any idea, is wondering what this is, I am live streaming, writing an episode of The Guide to Space, which I thought you would enjoy. So I've got a brand new empty script here, and this is what the next one is. You guys missed it. If you actually find my Twitch channel, I did this 2 days ago, and I wrote episode 265, which is Are We Living in a Simulation? So if you want to do that, if you can find your way to my Twitch channel, it's just F. Cain over on Twitch. I live streamed that, and I'm not sure how long that's going to last. But I thought I would live stream on YouTube since that's where everybody is. And then I think I'm just going to delete this as soon as I'm done. So you are just like catching a glimpse at the project, and then it's all gone. I live on Vancouver Island, Canada. Are we there before we die? PC Sharkly. I don't think so. If we can make a probe that can go like 20% the speed of light, then it could get there in maybe like 20 years, maybe. I'm trying to think. 10% is 4 light years away. So 40 years is 10%, 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. But, that's like brand new crazy technology. So we're probably never going to do it. Episode about Tabby Star. We've done 2 episodes about Tabby Star. So do a search on my channel for megastructures, and you'll see an episode about that. I don't know the exact number. Where do we post advanced notification of live videos? So Astronomy Cast. So you should sign up. Oh man. So James wants to know. If you subscribe to us on both YouTube and if you subscribe to both my channel and the Astronomy Cast channel, then you should get a notification to your phone that the stream has gone live. But we also post it on Twitter. We also post it live over on Universe Today. So we try to get the word out as best we can. And we, in theory, go live with Astronomy Cast every Monday. No, actually Fridays now after we do the weekly Space Hangout. So the plan is we're going to do both the Space Hangout and Astronomy Cast the same day. Have engineers considered some sort of magnetic field surrounding the star shots? So no, people have considered using magnetic fields as a way to protect spacecraft from radiation and things like that. But so far the technology is just really, really difficult, and they haven't been able to come up with anything that would be like the Earth's magnetic field. And if these chipsats, these star shots, they're teeny tiny, they're not going to be able to generate any kind of magnetic field. So I think the goal is they're just going to send wave after wave of killbots, and if any can make the journey and not get smacked by a little piece of dust going at relativistic speeds. So Leonard Segnitz, could James Webb observe Proxima B? Maybe. We don't know. Let's find out. James Webb's going to launch in just a couple of years, and they're going to probably put up the sunscreen, the star shade, and so that might actually be able to resolve the planet. But I think, I'll bet that a mission will be created whose primary purpose is to gather as much data about the Proxima Centauri planet as possible. Like that's how this thing kind of works, is that a new thing is discovered and then a mission follows up a few years later to try and gather more data. So I think that's where we're going to be at. Who was James Webb? He was one of the first administrator of NASA, I think. Jaylee wants to know how I like living on Vancouver Island. I love it.
River?
It's the river. Yeah. It's paradise. We live about 2 blocks away from this gorgeous river that we swim in. Try to swim in every day. Trees all around, as you see. We shoot just in the forest. We literally are shooting within 2 blocks of my house in all directions. So, Ryan V, how close are those 2 stars? Which 2 stars? Do you mean Proxima Centauri? Proxima Centauri is 4.25 light years. Germa Atanafu, our cockroach technology eye is still blind. 100. What? I don't understand. Sure, we have many undiscovered planets full of life. Let's hope so. Yeah, and it's 1.3 times the mass of the Earth. It orbits the sun in about 11 days. So it's the problem is that Proxima Centauri is what's known as a flare star. So it's a very dangerous young star that's not going to be a good place to live. All these red dwarf stars are very, very dangerous in the early phases, and then they settle down. So, they have flares that just dwarf anything that we have, even with our sun, even though it's a much smaller, much lower mass star. So, I don't think you would want to live there. And it's not like Proxima Centauri could be a flare star. Like it's a because it's a red dwarf, but it is specifically a known flare star. So it's known to blast out these mega flares that would just scour the life off the planet. It's probably tidally locked. I'm the owner of Universe Today and publisher. The publisher of Universe Today. In fact, I've got a Universe Today logo right on my shoulder here. Isn't this making the Fermi Paradox even a bigger paradox? There's either a big coincidence of habitable planets that are very common or something in between. Yeah, well, the Fermi Paradox is the most troubling concept philosophical concept that I can wrap my brain around. Every time I sit and think about the Fermi Paradox, my brain locks up. Because people will have these arguments with me about the Fermi Paradox and yeah, but the space is really big, and what are the chances that we're gonna find them, and what if they were in a zoo, and what if they just don't feel like traveling? But I think the more you sit down and really think about the Fermi Paradox, the more you realize how troubling the problem is. So. And I've done 5 episodes now on all the different pieces, talking about the Great Filter and about where are all the aliens and how can we communicate with them and so on and so forth. So, if the planet did have life, what would it probably be like? Well, so if it's tidally locked, then the planet is going to face one part of it at the star the whole time. And then... So one part of it is going to be in eternal sunlight, and one part of it's going to be eternal darkness. So the only place that's probably going to have any form of life is going to be right on the edges, in the shade, right around the edges of the planet, because otherwise it's going to be either too hot or too cold. So that's where it would be. Living underground. The great thing about red dwarf stars is that they'll last for billions, even trillions of years. So the chance that there's going to be, life is going to get this, is going to try and figure out a way. It'll have a tremendous amount of time to figure it out, assuming you can get past that early phase when it's a flare star. Air Zippy. So its day could be like that of Mercury's. Well, no, because Mercury isn't tidally locked. So Mercury takes I think it has 3 days for every rotation or for every orbit around the sun. So this is tidally locked. This is like the moon staring at the Earth, right? But imagine a planet just always facing the star the whole time. The Nurai asks, did I see space-time, PBS space-time, using the sun to power a black hole? I haven't seen it yet, no. But The concept of, we've done an episode on this as well, but using getting power from black holes is a really great idea, where you can actually, you can take a black hole, you can drop matter into the black hole, and so what happen, and the black hole's spinning really rapidly, and what'll happen is the material get almost to the point that it falls into the black hole, and then the rotation will cause the matter to sort of skip off the surface of the black hole. Now 70% of the mass goes in, but the other 30% gets this kick that gets then kicked out, because it hasn't actually gone right into the event horizon. And so the cool thing about this is you then can absorb that matter as it's flying away, take energy from it, and all what you're doing is you're essentially taking away the rotational energy from the black hole, and eventually the black hole will stop spinning because you've absorbed all this rotational matter from it. And then you can just drop more matter into it, spin the black hole back up, and then just keep stealing water stuff. And so it is like almost the most energy efficient way that you can get energy in the whole universe is to take a spinning black hole and just drop matter into it, and then catch the spray that comes out, which I think is just awesome. Okay, there's a bunch more questions here. Yeah, so I think as predicted, I'm not going to get any writing done, but Retarded Rhino, who we're going to bring in the next weekly podcast. So I think our next episode is going to be live from Kennedy Space Center. So we're going for the launch of the OSIRIS-REx mission, which is September 6th to 8th, and a bunch of the folks from the Weekly Space Hangout are going to be there, and we're going to hang out and do a live show and do a bunch of interviews and watch the launch, maybe try to live stream the launch. I don't know. So that's sort of when all of the shows are going to come back as well. Pamela is at DragonCon for Labor Day weekend, and we're going to do the first episode of Astronomy Cast. Well, usually she brings home a live episode of Astronomy Cast from DragonCon, and then we'll probably do our first episode after that. So, Colonel One Kill, what would happen to the human body if we traveled at 50% the speed of light in a ship all the way to Proxima Centauri? So you going 50% the speed of light, you would be starting to get into relativistic speeds. You'd start getting into time dilation, which would mean that, did we lose our, oh no, we didn't, we have it there. Okay. We get into time dilation. So you would experience less time. The journey would go shorter for you. Now you would be, all of the particles, all the dust particles and radiation particles, etc., would be going 50% the speed of light as well. And what happens to the human body when it gets hit by a piece of dust moving at half the speed of light? I think it would be pretty devastating. So right now, I don't think we have any way to safely travel at any really relativistic speeds until we can figure out a way to protect ourselves from all the particles and dust and stuff that would just act like relativistic sandpaper. We are marooned. Am I a scientist? No, I'm not a scientist. I am a journalist. So I am the publisher of Universe Today, and I've been doing this for 17 years now. So I write space news stories. Chris Nagelar, Tachyon's real? We have no idea. Stefan C., what is the name of your podcast? So the other podcast that I do is called Astronomy Cast, and we've been doing that for 10 years. We're about to finish season 11, and check it out. We've got 418 episodes, I think, with me and Dr. Pamela Gay, who is a PhD astrophysicist. Stavros Patrodalkis, can we develop a speed faster than the speed of light? Right now, no. We have no idea how to do it. Yeah, I'm Bill Nye. I am not Bill Nye. I've never actually met Bill Nye. Keep meaning to. I'm good friends with Emily Lakdawalla, who works at the Planetary Society, but I've never actually met Bill Nye. I'm sure if I went to LA, I could make that happen. Thanks, Elad Avron, for posting the Astronomy Cast link. What is the name of the micro creature that can repair its DNA? You're thinking about water bears.
84 watching.
Oh, yeah? Is the magnetic field relativistic? Well, no. I mean, a magnetic field moves at the speed of light, right? So you would need to be able to generate a magnetic field capable of redirecting particles that are moving relativistic. Trevor Marshall, is it possible that ultra-simplistic life could exist within the atmospheres of white dwarfs? I don't know, but I mean, white dwarfs, the gravity of a white dwarf is incomprehensible, right? You know, a teaspoon is hundreds of thousands of tons or whatever the number is. So what kind of life could live in that kind of gravity? T. Riley, have I met Neil deGrasse Tyson? Yeah, I've met Neil. We were, he probably doesn't remember, but we were at the American Astronomical Society, and we had to come up with a thing about space. The bouncer would let us through until we came up with a thing about space, and this happened just after Pluto was no longer a planet. And so I came up, and he was like, tell me a thing about space, and I'll let you in. And I'm like, well, Pluto's no longer a planet. And he's like, 8 people have already told me that today. And I'm like, oh. And then Dr. Tyson came up, and he said, there's alcohol in space. And the guy was like, whoa, really? And then Dr. Tyson explained it to him. It was really great. And then he was like, oh, that was so cool. And then he let us in. And then inside he was, it was at, I forget the name of the bar in the American Astronomical Society. But yeah, so that's the one time that I've actually met Dr. Tyson. What is my favorite Earth is my favorite planet, Barat 56. Kartiki wants to know about the golden record. So the golden record is this golden record that Carl Sagan had attached to the Voyager spacecraft that would give information about Earth. And the cool thing about the way the thing works is it's designed to last about 1 billion years. And so you can take the thing, it's got a record needle so they could try and play it, and it gives sounds of what it would sound like on Earth, the voices, nature sounds, things like that. It was a way to kind of make friends with aliens, or tell them exactly where we live so they can come and harvest our organs. So either way. Ilet Voris wants to know, how many takes do you shoot before you're happy with the video? One. We shoot one take. So you see the bloopers. So what happens is that we shoot, and then if I screw up, which happens all the time, then I will we'll go back in the script, and I'll just reshoot from a place back there, and then we will take the when we go to full screen graphics, sometimes we're just showing you a full screen graphic, and sometimes it's to hide a mistake. So just there you go, just behind the scenes. Okay, there's a lot of comments here going. Yeah, no, Neil deGrasse Tyson is hilarious. He's awesome. He is as cool in person as he seems to be on television. He's just so busy. Whoop, did that go? All right. Is space okay? So Chris wants to know, if space is a vacuum, then why does it have a temperature? So we did an episode called "How Cold is Space?" But okay, I'll explain the pulsar map in a second. So you're right. If there's no thing, then it can't have a temperature. But the space itself actually does have things in it. It's got these, tiny particles, interstellar dust, things like that, and they're radiating this temperature, the background temperature of space, which is 2.7 Kelvin, I think. So when you say the temperature of space, that is the temperature that, all the stuff that's around you, it's all at this temperature. And so in the, here in the solar system, if you're close to the sun, all of the particles, the asteroids, all that stuff is warmer, say maybe, 80 Kelvin. And then if you go out into interstellar travel, then the temperature comes down to the 20s. And if you're out in the deep cosmic voids, then the temperature is going to be just above absolute zero, the background temperature of the universe. So the pulsar map on the gist is that, there are these pulsars, which of course pulsars are neutron stars that are dead stars that have just died, and they're rapidly rotating. They're blasting out radiation, and they are sending out these pulses that happen in a very regular basis. And so you can detect these pulsars, and every pulsar, depending on how quickly it's turning, is going to have a period that is unique. And so the pulsar map that was provided on the Voyager record provided all of these different pulsars and showed the rotation rate, the pulse rate of these different pulsars. And so the aliens could look at it and go, oh, we know that one that goes this many times I forget the measurement method they use. Like, this is how many times like with atomic clocks, they measure them in jigglings of, I think, cesium atoms, and so they can then compare the number of, they have a universal standard of measuring time, and then they know what the pulsars are, and so then the aliens will go, okay, I know that pulsar, I know that pulsar, I know that pulsar, and the map shows where Earth is in relation to all of these different pulsars, and so that's how they would actually be able to track back using the pulsar map on the golden record back to Earth. Let me go back up. So much sound. What if the aliens never developed any ears? Well, I mean, the whole point is that there's sound is just waves moving through a medium, like through air, through water. So you don't necessarily need to have ears to be able to detect sound. I mean, you could go out and be deaf in front of the space shuttle launch and you would know it was happening because you would be feeling the pressure waves of sound coming from the space shuttle. So, the aliens probably can have figured out how to detect pressure waves moving through a medium. Paul, going to the Star Trek convention next week. That's awesome. You should totally do it. The atmosphere is unknown. Yeah, the atmosphere of the Proxima Centauri planet is unknown. I wonder what's the delay. So when you hear me talking and I'm talking to the chat, I don't know if it makes any sense. What is the furthest point that any man-made object has traveled to space? So I think it's Voyager 2, which has actually just left the heliosphere of the Earth. Oh, sorry, of the sun, the heliosphere of the solar system, which is far. But it's, still well within the actual solar system, and it's still 100,000 years from getting to the nearest star. So.
Wasn't this thing about you writing?
Yeah, this thing about me writing. Thanks for keeping me on task, Logan. I don't know. I'm having fun. One of the problems that I have is that when we do things like the weekly space hangout and so on, we don't get a chance to answer your questions. We're going so fast. I'm looking at, we can only answer a couple of questions. So, and New Horizons will outpace both Voyager soon. Yeah, New Horizons is currently the fastest spacecraft that's going. I forget the speed, but yeah, it's very fast. Oh, there you go. Galaxy says it's Voyager 1, which is great. So Garrett Claiborne, do you know if it's possible to infer positions, existence of things outside the observable universe through gravitational effects on systems near the boundary? That's a good question. So you've got something that's at the edge of the observable universe, and then you've got like maybe some great big galaxy cluster, and then you're seeing a distortion of the objects around it. Yeah, you'd have to talk to a cosmologist about that. So it feels like it makes sense to me. But the problem is that when you're looking out to the observable universe, you are looking right back to the beginning of the universe, right? So you're not seeing as things look now, you're seeing as they looked once the cosmic microwave background radiation appeared, which is about 300,000 years after the Big Bang. So you're not going to see galaxy clusters and things like that. What do we know about Juno, asks We Are Marooned. We're actually like 2 days away from a new big update from Juno, so we're probably going to find out a bunch of stuff. Lena R., what can we discover using gravitational lenses as telescopes? That's cool. yeah, we don't know what dark matter is, but we can use it as a telescope, which I love. The great thing about these gravitational lenses, you get one galaxy and you get another galaxy that's like right behind it, and the light comes around the galaxy and acts like a natural telescope. And so if you get these things lining up, you can see a galaxy that you wouldn't normally be able to see. So it's a pretty impressive technique that astronomers use. And I love this, right? Because like we don't know what dark matter is. We have no, some kind of particle, but we don't really know. And yet astronomers can use it as a telescope, which is just great. So the cool thing about the James Webb Space Telescope is it's going to be able to do this just brute force all the way back to pretty much to the edge of the observable universe. It's not going to need to do all the tricks that the Hubble Space Telescope does. It's going to just go right out to the edge, which is going to be amazing. There you go. What do I think about the Voyager anomaly? I think it's been solved now. I should probably do an episode on the Voyager anomaly. Dark energy, we don't know what it is, but hey, we can make a telescope. Yeah. And James, how long did it take? Radama and Bindra, is the cosmic event horizon expanding or receding? It's expanding. So the light from stuff we never saw before is reaching us, but the space itself is expanding. Who's winning for now? So for now, the cosmic horizon is getting bigger, and things are what we can see is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But eventually there'll come a time when the galaxies are moving away from us faster than the speed of light, and so they'll drop off the cosmic horizon and disappear. So we actually live in a pretty amazing time that we can see the cosmic microwave background radiation, and in tens of billions of years from now, it will no longer be visible. And so future astronomers will have no idea that these things even exist, that there ever was a Big Bang. Like there will be no information. So it's kind of special when you think about it, that we live at this time that we actually can find out about the beginning of the universe. James, yeah, bend their mind. So this is every episode that I do actually has a structure to it. So I do an introduction, I kind of lead in, I get my jokes out of the way, I then address the question directly, and then I try to bend their mind. So I try to put something into every script. My son wants you to see this.
No, it's the thing that
Oh, this is the cosmic horizon expanding? Yeah. Oh, thanks, buddy. So I try to put something into every script that even if a person knows a ton about this topic, that I am still gonna bend your mind. And that's sort of part of my goal with every episode. So I sort of have like the main explanation, but then I try to put in something at the end that makes it even a person who's like, I thought I knew everything on this subject, but that was crazy. Yeah. So how do you get a field and how do you get a job in astronomy? I don't have one, right? I'm a journalist. So go to school and be really good at math, and go into physics, and then get your master's degree in astronomy and physics, and then specialize more and go into to get your PhD. It's a lot of work, many years. Gaius Freeman says, makes you wonder what kind of things we might have no way of detecting ourselves given our own place in time. Absolutely. I did, again, a whole episode called What Will We Never See? And that was the gist of it, is that we will never see a bunch of stuff. Jamie Godman says I should do a chat more often. I will. I like it. It's fun. I don't think it's going to work as a way to write, but I do enjoy doing the chat and answering a bunch of your questions. So yeah, well, let's do this. I don't know, once a week. Because it's super easy for me to just turn on the camera and read your chats and chat with you about this. So let's add this to the schedule. We'll do this once a week. How do we cross over to astrophysics from a computer science degree? Well, that's an easy one. If you've got a computer science degree in like a bachelor's, there's a ton of astronomy is now computer science. So there's huge databases that people need to grind through. Most, Pamela and I have a joke. My co-host on Astronomy Cast. I have a degree in computer science. She has a degree in astronomy, but she's the computer programmer. Like, she has to do so much computer programming. So if you are a computer programmer and you want to get involved in astrophysics, find people who are working with big data and pitch in and help them out, and then you'll find more and more projects. So I think, yeah. And Iladez is saying also image processing. That's a really good point. There's tons of work in image processing, anything that can speed up the process, anything that can look through enormous amounts of data. We did an episode about 2 months ago, saying like what does the universe do when we're not looking, and that's me introducing the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope, and that's going to be pulling down petabytes of data that people are going to then make tons of discoveries, and it's all going to be database work. So get comfortable and familiar with the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, and then move into working with the Large Synoptic Survey Telescope. Retarded Rhino, any comments on the fact that scientists did not find any evidence of dark matter recently? Well, scientists have always been not finding any evidence of dark matter. They're continuing to sort of narrow in and focus on what it's not, but they still don't entirely know what it is. So I think that if a test turned up, was a test in the Large Hadron Collider? Was that the one that you were talking about, or just finding particles that they were expecting and didn't see? Let's see more. Wasam asks, is it possible to spot the Andromeda Galaxy with a naked eye? Absolutely. You just go look. It's out there. Just learn where it is. You got to find the constellation of Andromeda. I have a sort of a trick that I use to find it, and then you can totally see it. Drogo Baggins, your video in the comments were wonderful. Lots of smiles from that video. Yeah, I set that up wrong, which was that I should have begged the internet to not make poop and bum jokes. And then later on, mention that I was actually writing a book about Uranus jokes. And then, anyway, and how does the internet work? Because, obviously, whatever you ask the internet to not do, the internet does 1,000 times fold. So, do scientists live a happy life? It depends on the scientist. There you go, Anubis. You're working in big data. Perfect. So, get Hadooping. Lucas Pedro Batista. There's a lot of ways developers can help with big data scraping, processing. Yeah, I think you go talk to an astronomer, any astronomers, and they are frustrated by how much technology they have to be using. And if you can come in and help them out, they love it. So Guys Freeman says, what did he say? When season of Astronomy Cast ended with Dr. Gay, I thought I wouldn't have much astro talk to expose myself to or participate in. So this discussion is pretty cool, Fraser. Well, good. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. I'm enjoying it. You're enjoying it. Let's see if we can do this on a regular basis.
You're enjoying not writing?
I'm enjoying not writing. Yeah, I'm using this to not write. So good job, everybody. And the summer vacation has been rough in Vancouver without any more back catalog of Astronomy Cast to go through. Sorry. We got to take a break. You're on the West Coast. You know what it's like. Come on. We're in the river. We're swimming. We're hiking. It's awesome. So Yahoo Moreau wants to know more about Proxima B. Sure. What do you want to know? I gave a big long spiel at the beginning. So, the best Uranus joke still belongs to Futurama. I understand. You understand exactly. Especially the Cincinnati Zoo trying to ask people to not post jokes about Harambe, and then they had to take off their Twitter. How many Messier objects have I seen? James Gibbs wants to know. I don't know, probably 20, maybe. I don't have a good telescope because I live in a really crappy place for using a telescope. So I've got a couple of invitations to go and do a Messier marathon, and I'm probably going to do it maybe next year. The best time to do it is like March, April, where you can see all the Messier objects in one night, and I think that works for me. The Neural asks, if I have a question. If you're moving near the speed of light relative to Andromeda, can you return back to normal time by slowing? Yes. Yeah, if you slow down, you'll return to the normal time, in that a second for you will be the same as a second for Andromeda, but you will have lost all the time that dilated while you were moving. So if you move at the speed of light for 10 years or close to the speed of light and then you stop, maybe Andromeda's experienced billions of years, and so has home. So you can only move forward through time. You can't move backwards through time. What do I think about Planet X? We've done lots of episodes on Planet X. So there's the imaginary Planet X, the Nibiru, and then there's the actual Planet X, the Planet 9, which is the one that Mike Brown and Battigan discovered, and we're still waiting for them to actually find it, but they've detected its existence. So I'm really excited. Where did I learn astronomy, in college or just a hobby? Just a hobby, being a journalist for 17 years. I don't know. I think I should get a honorary degree from doing Astronomy Cast for 10 years with Dr. Pamela Gay. I mean, I've literally had a chance to ask all my questions of a PhD astrophysicist for 10 years. That's got to count for something. Stealth DJ says the Proxima B is called Eden in Elite Dangerous. It takes 45 minutes to get there from Alpha Centauri and has a station called Hutton Orbital. Well, there you go. I got to fire up Elite Dangerous and check it out. Francisco Juarez, who is our assignments editor on Universe Today, asks, would relativistic effects affect audio communications? Well, yes. But you would both see the other person as being slowed down. So you would see them talking in slow motion, and they would see you talking in slow motion. So that's relativistic effects. Unless you were next to a black hole, and then you might see them talking quickly. Sergio Sansevero. Hey, Sergio. Good to see you. Germa Etanavo talks about Republicans. I'm Canadian. I don't understand those complicated U.S. politics. G-Man 351. As a human, how do you feel about all the discoveries we make and how we will never actually go there in person? Oh, wah, wah. It's true. It sucks to know that these places exist, and yet we can never get close. But at the same time, we send these spacecraft to these worlds, and we find these things that we never knew were there, like the ridge on Iapetus or the ice mountains of Pluto and things like that. So we are getting these great discoveries that we didn't know were out there. So in some cases we find these things and we'll never be able to look at them, and then in other cases we learn about these things and you know we're not going to get a chance to and we do find it, we didn't even know they were there. So the universe giveth and the universe taketh away. Should I make this? How would I make this bigger? How would I kill that? Because clearly the writing isn't going to happen. So let me just kill that. Oh, no, I'll delete that shot. And then I'll take this and I'll embiggen it. Let's hope this works. And I'll bring the crop out. Oh, there's Logan.
Oh.
No, it's not Logan. That's probably too big. Well, we want to have that chat there, right? Okay. We'll do that. And then I'll press that. And then we lost that. There it is. All right. Okay. I was never intending to write in the first place. Yeah. Okay. What would happen if there was a fist fight inside a spaceship going at the speed of light? Well, if you're in the spaceship and you're having a fight, then you're experiencing time in the same way. So, yeah. So you wouldn't experience any time dilation. Other people would watch the fist fight happen in slow motion, and you would watch those other people in slow motion. Let's see. James Haney says I should be the doctor. Yeah, if some university wants to offer me an honorable PhD in astronomy, I would take that.
I think the Doctor Who.
Or if Gallifrey wants to offer me a PhD, I would also accept that. Let's see. Why did I start making YouTube videos? What was the inspiration? Man. So we originally, how that happened was we originally started Astronomy Cast, like, again, 10 years ago, and we did it as a Skype call with me and Dr. Pamela Gay. And then Google came out with their Hangouts technology, and I figured that it might make sense for us to use Hangouts to do that, and people could watch us as we recorded the episode. And so we did that. And then, so we were recording the episodes of Astronomy Cast live. And then we did the weekly space hangout. And so I got a lot more comfortable with just doing video and being live in front of the public. It's actually, it's a pretty difficult thing to get to a place where you feel comfortable being in front of a camera, and you see your balding hair and your bags under your eyes, and you realize you're an old bald man. But I really enjoyed certain kinds of videos that people were doing where they were explaining things, and so that was, I really enjoyed those videos, and I knew that I had some stories to tell and some things to explain, and so I did it. And so if you actually go back, I've been thinking about this for a couple of years, and if you go back to the first episode of the Guide to Space series, the one that's, how long does it take sunlight to get Earth? I was like hunched over, and we had a bad microphone and a bad camera, but that was sort of the first crack at it, and then experimented and practiced. And a lot of it goes to my buddy Jay Harmer, who helped me make probably the first 180 episodes or so. And a lot of the inspiration, he was really good because he had his pretty filthy sense of humor, and he gave me permission to be silly, and that was good because I was trying to be a lot more serious, a lot more Neil deGrasse Tyson-y, and he put in all these really obscure pop culture references and filthy humor. And that's the way we talk, but I never thought that would be entertaining in the actual video. And so he threw all that stuff in, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to say this stuff. But then later on, it just got easier and easier and easier. And now I'm perfectly happy to be as obscure about my sci-fi references or make poop jokes or whatever, and throw that stuff in. And so huge props to Jay Harmer, who help make these things. Okay. Jackman is Jack. Do you keep up with computer science these days? Yeah. I mean, I read Hacker News but I don't program much anymore. But I mean, working with computers and working with web servers and stuff, there's a certain amount of that technology that you have to deal with all the time. So, Anubhav Saha. So, what are my thoughts on the simulation hypothesis? So I actually wrote, and I think I may do this. I'll go back to Twitch and write live on Twitch and use that and maybe not even look at the comments while people are talking, but if people want to watch me, because it was a lot of fun to sort of just write publicly. And so the previous episode 265 is the simulation hypothesis. And the whole script is over there on Twitch. So if you want to watch, if you skip right to the end of the Twitch stream, you can actually watch me read the script live and do it. So I find the simulation hypothesis super interesting and mind-bending. It is sort of as interesting to me as the Fermi Paradox, although it has less about aliens. So I'm not as stoked about it. What if a black hole composed entirely of electrons, comes from Stephen C., came towards the Earth? Well, the problem is that black holes are just black hole. Once you get, once it becomes black hole, there's no electrons, there's no antimatter, there's no matter, there's no energy. It's just black hole. All right. And so that's why we ask this question, like, what if you had a black hole and an antimatter black hole and the two collided? Like, what would happen? Well, the thing is that there is no such thing as an antimatter black hole, and there's no such thing as a matter black hole. Once it becomes black hole, it's just black hole. Now, if you did actually have, you could have an antimatter black hole and have a regular matter black hole and have them collide, it would generate two black holes worth of energy via E equals mc squared. But two black holes worth of energy compressed into the region of a black hole, you just get two more black hole. So, a black hole's worth of, that's what E equals mc squared means, is that energy and matter, they're interchangeable. And if you get a star's worth of energy compressed into that tiny space, or a star's worth of matter, or a star's worth of antimatter, it's all just the same thing. It's all just black hole. Why would aliens want to kill us if it's huge and full of materials? Yeah, I don't know. I hope the aliens would want to kill us. Drogo Baggins says, there's a guy at the testing center at my school who looks just like me, Fraser, and he looked at me like I was strange when I asked him if he'd heard of Fraser, though. Hey, guy. All right, let's go down. Do I keep up with SpaceX? Yeah, I've been to SpaceX facility down in LA, and it's awesome. At Burner, take your shirt off. Trying to rub one out here. Oh, you're gonna have to do with my shirt on, man. So how does the speed of light influence the conservation of matter into energy? I don't really understand the question, Keegan. Oh, thanks for the ban. I think At Burner's commented quite a bit, so I don't think he's entirely spammer. But Lee Williams, do black holes spin in any one direction? No, they'll spin in whatever direction they want to spin in. So, just like stars spin in all the different directions, galaxies spin in different directions. Like, you've run the tape backwards. The spin of the black hole is just the addition of all of the particles that went into it, and all of the all of the conservation of momentum that went into it, and that ends up with the spin. Do I think that aliens exist? All right, so no, I don't think that aliens exist, and the reason I don't think the aliens exist is because of the Fermi Paradox. I've done a bunch of videos about this, and the gist is that the universe is ancient and huge, and life we know has formed here on Earth, and so we would have to assume that life has formed in other places, and yet we don't see any evidence of the aliens, and no argument for why we haven't seen the aliens is good enough, in my opinion. So either we are the first advanced civilization in the universe, or something happens that kills all life when it reaches the starfaring stage. And I am an optimist, and so I am hoping that we are first and not that we are about to be wiped out of the universe. So no, I don't think there's any aliens. I think there might be like bacteria life in other places, but I don't think there's any aliens. That's my personal opinion, and obviously, we'll have to find evidence either way. Eris Zippy asks, would it be a good idea to terraform Mars by smashing one of its moons into it? I don't know if you smashed its moon into it, it would make it better. You would need, if you want to terraform Mars, you want to either release tremendous amounts of chlorofluorocarbons, so set up a factory that blasts out chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere of Mars, or you want to you want to smash like comets and stuff into it to thicken the atmosphere. So if you just took one of its moons and just smashed it into it, it would just. In fact, Phobos is destined to be smashed into Mars in about 30 million years anyway. So, just wait and see. Titus Cooper says, "This is great. Do more live streams." Cool. I think we will. I think we'll do one. We'll try to do one a week. I'll pick a time and I'll just hang out with you guys and answer questions for an hour, talk about whatever's new. Have that be different from the other stuff that we do. So cool. I'm into that. We actually recorded a question show in the with our last round of videos, and what I would love to do is for you folks to follow me on Instagram or Snapchat, record video questions for me, and then I'll post the questions in the video and then answer the questions. So stay tuned. John Smith, yeah, I'm all alone. This isn't a show. I'm just hanging out, answering questions. We're talking about Proxima Centauri and relativistic space travel and black holes and things like that. How many ears does Captain Kirk have? What? Can black holes have an electromagnetic charge? Well, the area around the black hole can have an electromagnetic charge. Left ear, right ear, and a final frontier. Oh, that's awesome. How many ears does Captain Kirk have? A left ear, a right ear, and a final frontier. It's F. Cain. F-C-A-I-N. It's a trap. Guys, Freeman, wait, doesn't the possibility of another form of life near our level of advancement, you're talking more towards interstellar or intergalactic type 1 aliens? Yeah, so... right. So, okay. All right. So here is the argument. I'll give you the sort of the in-depth argument of this, right? Which is that where did life start? Where did bacterial life start on Earth? Right? You go to anywhere on Earth. You look in any drop of water. You look in the soil. Look in the rocks. Look in the air. No matter where you go, there is life everywhere on the whole planet. And so wherever life formed, and we don't know exactly where it formed, it didn't take it long to colonize the entire planet so that life is equally spread around this entire planet. So take that idea and scale it up one notch, which is that wherever life could form in the galaxy, any planet, pick any one planet, that far, the bug bladder beasts of Alpha Proxima Centauri, that you get an advanced civilization, it reaches a starfaring thing, or it creates self-replicating robots. It sends those robots to another star. The robot builds another robot, and then it builds two more robots, and then those robots go to other worlds, and they build. So the point is that any civilization that reaches the point of being able to send out a probe to another star would then inevitably colonize the entire galaxy. How long till we do it? 200 years until we have robots capable of making more robots that can go to other worlds and make more robots? We're not far away. We've been here for hundreds of thousands of years, and now suddenly here we are, and we're about to begin the colonization of the entire galaxy. And people have done the math, and it'll take maybe 10 million years to have these replicating robots get to every single star system in the entire galaxy. And then they just build a monolith, right? And this is what 2001 was all about, which was that an alien civilization built self-replicating robots that traveled world to world to world and comprehensively put some object on every single one. And Elad Avron is saying, I disagree. I don't think it's inevitable. It's a bunch of huge leaps and assumptions. So, sure, but run the experiment 10,000 times, right? Let's say that 10,000 separate civilizations appear in the galaxy. All it takes is one civilization to build the self-replicating robot chain, and you get monoliths on every single planet in the entire galaxy. And we don't need to know that who the aliens are or anything about that, right? We don't need to be able to see them, talk to them, have coffee with them. But if we see a monolith on the planet that we know that it came from, that it has some unusual source or formation. And so far, none of these artifacts have been found. And so because none of these artifacts have been found, we don't see these self-replicating robot factories. We have to assume that nobody ever got around to doing it. And yet it seems like it's inevitable. It seems like it's the thing that we're about to do. So it's weird to me that it just hasn't happened. So that's why I feel like there are no aliens, because if there were aliens, if an advanced civilization at some point in the last 13.8 billion years formed, and in just 10 million years it would have colonized the entire Milky Way, and yet we don't see a single artifact of that colonization. So that's for me, that is the Fermi Paradox, and it is the most confusing, most baffling thought that I can imagine. And so, are we ignoring the scale of the universe? Well, right, but we aren't, Eli, because we are 200 years away from being able to send a self-replicating robot to another star system, right? So that's it. There are civilizations on Earth who have never encountered other civilizations. Well, only because we are respecting their desire for privacy. I mean, if we wanted to go to the people on those, in the middle of the rainforest, we could find them and reach them and force them to have a conversation with us if we wanted to. Bring your gunship up to the people of forget the islands just off the coast of India, who throw spears. Like, we're respecting it, right? So if we wanted to force them to have a conversation with it, you could land a helicopter and with guns and talk to them. How do we know we aren't those people in the river? Right. So maybe, right? So the only argument that's even like a tiny little bit compelling to me is that we're in the zoo, right? That the aliens know we're here and they're giving us their space, except again, where are the Captain Kirks? You would imagine there'd be Captain Kirks that would be breaking the prime directive, and they'd come down to the planet and they would, they'd want to mate. So I think, once again, you have this great big universe, you have tens of thousands of aliens living in this wonderful federation, and one of them is like, I'm going to go down and hang out with them and tell them the secret truth about this. And this just hasn't happened again. So that is so I just don't feel like the aliens are going to act as a single cohesive unit. But again, maybe that's the case, right? But I think that's wishful thinking. That's all. It's wishful thinking to try and get away from the really kind of terrifying truth of the Fermi Paradox, which is that either we're first or maybe we're the only intelligent civilization in the entire universe, and the responsibility is on us to explore out into space. Or something really awful happens to all alien civilizations when they reach the point of advanced technology. And there's, we've got all kinds of things that we're working on that could wipe out all life on Earth if we, could turn the planet into strange matter or something, So that's all. So the weird part is that we couldn't even predict it, right? We just suddenly we fire up the fusion reactor and the Earth just goes. That's it. So that's it. I mean, this is best done with beer, and we will, when we hang out in the future, we will get to the bottom of this. So, all right. Yeah, Thomas Ranker. Captain Kirk just wants girls. That's exactly right. And Titus Cooper, colonization might be their goal. Well, I would expect that the aliens would have different goals. Some goals would be about colonization, and some would be about keeping us in the zoo, and others would be about, they have as many different goals as there were alien civilizations, and even as many different goals as there were different aliens. And so one of them is gonna be like, I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna show them what the truth is. So it just hasn't happened. Galaxy says, make sure it's Belgian. Done. It'll be a Belgian beer. The first time we engage a star drive, they will make contact. That's what I believe. Put your fingers out. Yeah. Again, right? So maybe 42% of the aliens have voted to only reveal themselves to us when they engage the star drive, and 21% have voted to visit us when we get the first fusion drive going, and one just wants to Captain Kirk and violate our prime directive. So, Jamie Goodman, does my family enjoy space as much as me?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy space?
Enjoy space.
I mean, he enjoys space from afar.
Yeah.
I don't know if you enjoy space, to the level that you want to make it your career, but yeah, they like space.
Well, not as much as like Markiplier.
Markiplier loves space, yeah.
Yeah.
And Jacksepticeye. Seems like aliens. Lucas says that aliens is a good topic for the channel since the number of people watching is growing. Yeah, how would I change the title? I wonder if I can do that. As Rena says, Fraser Cain live stream. So let me change it to Fraser Cain talking about aliens. Aliens, Proxima Centauri. I don't know if I can update this though. I'd have to save it, and then I'm sure it's going to wreck something. So we'll just leave it as Fraser Cain live stream. Sean Forster, how often do I live chats? This is great. So we do the weekly space hangout, but it isn't really a live chat. And so clearly I have made a horrible, horrible mistake, and I will do a live chat once a week. So let me know a time. When do you want to do this? It updated live here, no worries. So I can change the title? Right? Aliens and Proxima Centauri. Let me see. I'll just do that and see if it has. G-Man, this is live. Yes, it's live. Yes, G-Man, it's live. Live. Together, we are trapped on this earth. Live. Refreshed and updated. Okay, cool. OXYZABCX0. Is that like hex code? What does that mean? Anyway, I mean, I've always wondered. I've seen your name for so long. Have I ever thought about collaborating with other space shows like SciShow Space or Tomorrow? Yeah, I think we're going to try to get the Tomorrow folks on the Space Hangout, which is going to be cool. I haven't talked to SciShow Space, but I have chatted with PBS Space Time about doing a collaboration, so stay tuned. Sean Forster, I'm on lunch, so this is great. Title updates faster than the chat. Really? All right, Fraser Cain. I'm going to copy that one. Fraser. All right, so I have changed the title. You tell me what I updated the title to. Okay. So the thing that I like, Jamie, is I like people who, I mean, SciShow Space is great, and PBS Space Time, and all those big folks are great, and I really like. There you go. All right, I really like some of the more obscure people, and I found some great people that I want to do collaborations. So I want to do collaborations with people who I think are really great, who maybe you've never heard of, and see if I can bring them into the stream. So
91 watching.
91 watching. That's crazy.
Let's break 100 before we...
You want to break 100? Tell your friends. Does our understanding of complex life require it to be orbiting a third generation star? Jack the Wise. So we don't know anything, right? We only have a data point of one. Us here on Earth. Life. That's all we've got. So we know that those conditions make it possible, but we don't know sort of what variations would make it possible as well. So that's still the question, and so that's why we are searching for life. We're searching for life in other solar systems. We're searching for life by listening to their signals. We're looking for life in exotic environments on Earth. So that's where we're at right now. Yeah, Matt is his name from PBS Space Time.
97.
97. There you go. Drogo back is. People say they like space, but lose their enthusiasm quickly when you put them in a vacuum chamber for even a little while. Yeah. I wonder how Markiplier and Jacksepticeye would feel about that. I love space, really? Do you love space like directly? Do you love space when you can't breathe? Do you think a large... So Arjun asks, do you think a large moon is necessary for complex life? So we did a video on that. Did we need the moon for life, I think? The gist was that we needed the moon for the life that we have, not necessarily life at all. So the world would be a different place if we didn't have the large moon to regulate certain parts about life. But I think life would still have evolved. It just wouldn't have evolved the way that it did, the way we see it today. Talk about Musk. What do you want to know about Musk? I haven't met him. I have never talked to him. So that's on my bucket list. I have been to SpaceX and I have gotten a tour of the rocket factory, but I've never actually had a chance to talk to Musk. So Ilad Avron saying that I might get to see a sun-grazing comet during the 2017 eclipse. Will that make the universe even with me? No, it will not. I need a large comet that is in the night sky, that's visible with the unaided eye. At least 15 degrees would be good. That's what I need. So, no, the universe will not be square if they just provide me with a sun grazer during an eclipse. Not acceptable, universe. Do I believe humans have ever been to the moon? Yes, I believe humans have been to the moon. Of course. There's a great. I hope someone can link it up in the chat. There's a great Mitchell and Webb piece about some conspirators talking about how they would fake the trip to the moon, and it's so good, so funny. So we'll be able to save the cost of the rocket. Well, no, we're still going to need the massive rocket because people are going to be like, how did they get to the moon? And they're like, they went in that massive rocket. Okay, so we'll need the rocket.
But what about they're made of meat?
They're made of meat?
Remember the poem?
Or the story. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Ella just posted a link to to that. So watch that. That is the best argument for it. Or watch The Big Bang Theory. There's an episode of The Big Bang Theory where they set up a laser to shoot at the retroreflectors that are located on the moon, and you can these were set up by the astronauts, and they're there. And if you point a laser at the moon, you will bounce off those retroreflectors, and you can time the distance that it takes to get back to the Earth. And you couldn't do this if these retroreflectors hadn't been placed there. So. And then there's all the other reasons, which you don't need to get into. So Colonel One Kill, what do we think about the galactic law enforcement as a reason we have not been contacted yet? Patrolling high-risk systems like ours with cloaks, maybe. High-risk systems? Is that a Rick and Morty reference? That's ridiculous. Mystery. Yeah, so it's back to the whole problem with it's back to the prime directive problem, right? Which is that what are the chances that the prime directive would not get broken by some Captain Kirk who wants to just come and hang out and woo the women? So Neem Khan asks, what advantage will the JWST have over the Hubble? How much further could it see beyond the ultra-deep field? So James Webb is going to blow your mind. It is going to be able to see all the way back to pretty much to the edge of the observable universe. And as Ilad is saying, it's going to be able to see in infrared. So we're going to get this view 99. Of this. Oh, wait, 99? All right, one more. Is that what we should do? Like, if we hit to 100, then that's when the stream gets shut down? No. It's like a time bomb. That's too many people. So the James Webb, and so if you look at the structure of the James Webb, the Hubble Space Telescope has the mirror is like, 2.8 meters, I think. James Webb is like 6 meters across. It's a gigantic telescope. It's going to be the coolest thing in space. Now we're down to 90.
No.
We're down to 95. So some people took the risk. So it's just going to be an amazing telescope. The downside is that it doesn't have visible light, ultraviolet, the way that Hubble does. So we need other telescopes that are going to fill in those gaps. But the actual James Webb is just going to be a phenomenal telescope. Okay. What's the matter with antimatter? Complete chaos. It's nothing the matter. Antimatter is just fine. We use it. Still, would you sleep with a Captain Kirk type alien if they came to Earth? Oh, I don't know. It's intriguing. Do galaxies form spirals because it takes longer for the gravity at the center to reach the outer regions? So now we did an episode called Why Do Galaxies Have Arms? Why do spiral galaxies have arms? Why do galaxies have spiral arms, I think? So do a search for that, and you can see that. 100. We hit 100. So I think that's probably time. And we've been here for an hour and a quarter. So I think it's time to wrap this up. Well, I didn't get a chance to write, which was sort of the plan. But we did get a chance to hang out, and I did discover that, in fact, just live streaming is super fun, and we'd want to do that. John Smith, how can you have 85,000 subscribers and only 99 people watching the live stream? Do you buy subscribers? Did you get your check yet? Did you get your money? I sent you your money, John, and now you're here. No, I did this as a surprise. Nobody knew that I was even going to do this. I just turned on the live stream and just started live streaming. So, people had no idea
Next
that this
time,
was
play
actually
like a space game.
Well, that's what I was. Yeah. So fine. I will let you know some of my ideas. So one idea is I guess we're gonna do this. So I think we'll do this once a week. We'll just do a live stream. I'll just turn on the camera and I'll just yak with you. So we'll do that. The second thing is my son thinks we should play some games. So I was thinking it'd be kind of fun to play some space games, and so we'll do that. I think once a week as well. Play some No Man's Sky. Elite Dangerous, maybe. Kerbal Space Program. We'll play some Universe Sandbox. So we'll do that, and we'll just chat and hang out. So yeah, cool. All right. Well, I think I'll wrap this up. Don't buy No Man's Sky. I did buy No Man's Sky, but Chad bought No Man's Sky, and then he shared a Steam library at me. So we can play it. Yeah, we'll do some Universe Sandbox. Actually, we've got the Universe Sandbox 2 beta. They just put in the Roche limit. Do you want to take over, buddy? You're doing.
What do you mean? I'm just like...
EVE Online, that'd be fun. Oh man, EVE Online's a good game, but I just can't go down that rabbit hole. Same bad time, same bad day of the week. It probably won't be this time in day of the week. It'll be a different time. Stealth GJ, thanks for the stream. Maybe happy after a crappy day at work. It'd be cool. Star Citizen, yeah, boy. If Star Citizen, they want to send me a beta or an alpha access to Star Citizen, I will play that. Cool. We're going to have the creators of the Universe Sandbox on the Space Hangout in September. So, there we go. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks to everybody for joining me at the spur of the moment. And I'm really glad that we could share the Proxima Centauri news, which is just amazing. And I will set this up as a regular time. You tell me a time that works. Obviously, this time works for all of you, but it won't work for other people. So we'll pick another time, and I'll just sort of do that. Evening, West Coast. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'll look at how other people do this and see if there's a clever way to do this. So cool. All right. Well, hey, thanks everyone. Thanks for asking all your questions. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm now going to have to shut off and write before I was going to try and write with you. But if you want to see me write live the previous episode, go over to Twitch. My last episode is there, and I wrote that one live. And I might do the writing still on Twitch. So cool. All right. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you all, I don't know, whenever this happens again. All right. Let me turn off some streams now.